The first thing I did wrong was panic. The second thing I did wrong was key the beacon. Before I had confirmed the relay buoy's alignment, it was damage from the debris strike. A fractured emitter housing on buoy Keth 7, 3 light minutes off our port bow. And I knew it was fractured because I'd flagged it in my shift log 4 hours earlier, and then done nothing about it. Because I was 22 standard cycles out of the academy, and the vessel's senior comms officer was in the medical bay, and I was alone at the board. When the plague hit the third deck, I reached for the beacon with both hands. I did not think about the buoy. Colony vessel, the Aravel's Promise, carries 312 settlers from the Outer Rim dispersal, families, technicians, a pair of agricultural surveyors, one overworked ship's physician, who was now the only reason 12 people on the third deck were still breathing. The sickness had come aboard at the Pendrath way station. By the time we understood what it was, we had 8 critical cases, and the physician was working without rest. She sent me a voice-only message at the 4th hour. Get me the healing. I need their pharmacological database. Do it now. I reached for the beacon. Buoy Keth 7 was fractured on its primary emitter, which meant the signal did not travel cleanly toward the Council's relay network. It spread. The side lobe, the waste edge of a transmission, the part that normally dissipates into nothing, angled 32 degrees off the intended vector, caught the edge of a frequency band I did not recognize. I know this now. I did not know it then. What I knew then was that I had sent the beacon, and the beacon had gone somewhere. And after 19 minutes, the board lit up with an incoming signal on a channel I had never been trained to use. I stared at it for a long moment. The identifier prefix was not Council standard. It was not any standard I knew. I pulled up the registry and found the band listed under a notation that said, in our administrative language, simply, Human Emergency Response, cross-registered per the Pendrath Accord, Article 9, subsection 4. I had never read Article 9. I do not think my senior officer had either. I opened the channel. The voice that came through was unhurried, flat. It reminded me of someone reading from a maintenance checklist. Aravel's Promise. This is the patrol frigate. Enduring patience out of Earth's 7th Border Detachment. We caught your medical beacon on the emergency crossband. State your situation. I told them. I gave them the number of critical cases, the symptoms as the physician had described them, the name of the way station we had departed. I told them I had not aimed the beacon at them. I told them this immediately, because it seemed like the kind of thing they should know, and because I was 22 cycles out of the academy and honesty was the only tool I had left. There was a pause of perhaps 4 seconds. Understood, the voice said. We're 41 minutes out. Hold your current vector. That was all. I sat at the board, and I waited, and I tried to decide whether I had done something catastrophic or something useful, and the distinction did not resolve itself with any speed. I filed a notation in the incident log. Medical beacon dispatched to Hinkle. Relay buoy Keth 7, misalignment confirmed. Signal received by human patrol vessel. Vessel has acknowledged and is en route. I stared at that last line for a while, then I left it in. Physician sent me another message at the 5th hour, asking where the Council's database was. I told her that the Council had not responded, but that a human patrol frigate was 41 minutes out in closing. There was a silence on her end that lasted long enough that I thought the channel had dropped. Then she said, all right, that was all. The enduring patients arrived in 38 minutes, not 41. It was not a large ship, a single role patrol frigate, lean and angular, with the kind of surface weathering that comes from years in the border sectors, rather than any deliberate styling. It did not look like aid was aboard it. It looked like something that had decided to be somewhere and had arranged the universe accordingly. They did not ask for docking clearance so much as inform me they were taking it. A courteous statement, firm as a weld. Aravel's Promise, coming alongside. Open Bay 7 if you have it. If you don't, open whatever you have. We had Bay 7. I opened it. 2 people came aboard. Only 2. I had expected more. I did not know what I'd expect exactly, but the vessel looked large enough to carry 20. And when I met them at the bay threshold, I must have allowed something to show on my face, because the woman in front glanced at me and said, without breaking stride, I'm the surgeon. He's carrying the kit. Take us to your physician. The surgeon's name, I learned later, was something in a human language that my translator rendered approximately as Yevda. She was not young and she was not particularly warm, in the way that people who have been doing a hard thing for a long time sometimes are not particularly warm. She shook my physician's hand once, asked 3 questions, and had her medical satchel open before the 3rd answer was finished. The kit the second man carried was a hard-sided case the size of a traveling trunk. When they opened it, I counted more pharmacological tools than our medical bay had brought on the voyage entire. I did not ask how a patrol frigate came to have a field surgical suite aboard. It did not seem like the right moment for administrative curiosity. They worked through the night cycle. That is all I can say about those hours with any precision. They worked, and I sat at the comms board and logged entries that said very little, and the physician moved between patients with a steadiness I recognized as the thing a person builds when they have used up every other available resource, and steadiness is what remains. At the 2nd hour of the morning cycle, Yevda came out to where I was sitting and told me that 10 of the 12 critical cases were stable. She said it the way someone might report a mechanical adjustment. She told me 2 had not made it. Both had been in cascade failure before the enduring patients docked, before the kit was open, before anything could have changed the outcome. And she said this without apology and without theater, which I found easier to receive than if she had done otherwise. I thanked her. I was not sure what else to do. She looked at me for a moment. Then she said, "Your beacon came in on the crossband. You know that?" I told her I knew. I told her about Boy Keth 7. I told her the signal had not been aimed at them. She picked up her satchel. "Close enough," she said. She and the second man were back aboard the enduring patients within the hour. The frigate undocked without ceremony, filed a brief departure notice through the crossband channel, and was gone. I sat with the incident log open for a long time after that. There was a field in the log for routing classification, a drop-down really with standard options. Council response, Empire Relay, Mutual Aid Partner, unclassified. I scrolled through the options twice. None of them were right. There was no option for what had happened. I created a new entry. I labeled it in plain language because it was the only accurate thing I could write. Wrong recipient. Correct response. Filed it under unclassified and left the log open, and thought about Boy Keth 7, and about 10 people on the 3rd deck who were breathing through the morning cycle who might not have been. The beacon had not been aimed at Earth. It came anyway. I have not corrected the routing log. I have decided, after considerable reflection, that a routing error which produces that outcome does not require correction. What it requires is someone to sit with it a while and understand what it means, and then make sure the buoy is properly aligned for next time, so that if there is a next time, and the side lobe spreads again, and the crossband lights up again, whoever is sitting at this board will know what that incoming channel means, and will open it without hesitation, and will tell them everything. Because the Healing Council, as it happens, never did respond.